very stressful morning. Little fairies here to eat. So it starts off with me almost getting scammed. They had my full address, and you know, it really can happen to anyone. Very wabi sabi. Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to the channel. Happy Wednesday. It is halfway through the week, and let's see if anyone's gonna trigger their skill. I had a early start of the day today because I had to go to the doctors to get some checkups done. You know, women's health and all. If you are a lady and you are watching this, if it's been 2 years since you've had your pap smear test, definitely book that and get that done. So yeah, I had a early start of the day. It was quite a hectic one. I had to go to a new clinic I've never been to before just because, you know, I moved last year, so the clinic I usually go to, it wouldn't make sense for me to travel an hour. So I went to a new one. And let's just say I got the addresses mixed up. I should have done a little bit more due diligence. On Google Maps, when I look up the location name, it led me to a old address, okay? So I had to look at the email, and then I realized I made a little boo-boo. I am in the completely wrong address and area. So I took the bus for nothing. The clinic ended up being like literally 10-minute walk away from where I live. And it was just a very stressful morning. So I was about 5-6 minutes late to my appointment, which isn't bad, but then because I'm a new client to that clinic, it took like 5 minutes for my account to be made at the front desk. So that was like 10 minutes out of my 30-minute consultation. So that was a little bit unfortunate. However, I was able to get all my questions and concerns, and I have to do a, what's it called? Ultrasound or something like that. Yeah, an ultrasound. I also have to get some blood work done. I'm not pregnant, if any of you guys are wondering. But yeah, that was my hectic morning. And I'm glad that was all done and over with. So here we are now, looking at what we are going to catch for the morning. I'm not gonna spend any more cookies on that bell sprout because I have a pretty good one, but it's never a bad idea to find a better one. Psyduck, I do not really want to. Actually, you know what? Because it's hungry, I'm gonna give it one cookie. So 3 bars in, that is good. And yeah, the Old Gold Power Plant comes out today, very exciting. There's also 2 new Sleep Style Dex goals added to our game, which is going to be really great in order to expand your pot a little bit more. Let's do... should I do Floragato? Is that Floragato? I think so. You know what, let's do that because I don't encounter it often. So for those who are using it, I think you could benefit from it, right? The candies. I was a little bit stressed about the whole being late situation. It gives me a little bit of anxiety when I'm late to important appointments like doctor's appointments and stuff. So hopefully that's the most stressful thing that's going to happen to me today. I had a very bad and unlucky day tomorrow, but it looks like luck is a little bit on my side today because I got a great biscuit from the Daily Lotto, so that definitely puts a smile on my face. So let's see if we're able to make anything for breakfast. And I can make my ninja salad. So fingers crossed that we get a crit meal. And we did not, but that's fine. So it is Wednesday. I'm wearing a cute light pink cardigan. The lighting is a little bit pink too. And here's the fairy wand I wanted to show you guys. So if you go to Heidi Lau and you say little fairies here to eat, you get a variation of a fairy wand. So my sister and I got matching ones. We didn't choose it, the guy just gave it to us, so I guess maybe it was the only one in stock. But then I saw this little like cranking machine that they had, and they had like other ones. But I think I'm very happy with this one. There's ones with like a moon and stuff, but this one is super cute, pink. There's a button here, but I don't know if it's gonna light up or make noises. I need to put batteries, but the batteries are pretty teeny tiny, so I need to get that. But I'm so happy. Little fairy's here to eat, and it's just so stinking cute. My favorite thing I've gotten from Haidilao so far. So breakfast is served. Let's go to our research community now. So unfortunately, as we noticed yesterday, there was a little bug whenever you go in and out of the... Oh, Night Fury. We grew closer, congrats. Yeah, whenever you go in and out of the research portraits, it goes all the way back up, which kind of sucks. But yeah, let me tell you guys about my day yesterday. So it starts off with me almost getting scammed. Actually, no. I would say it started when I took my first sip of coffee, and it was absolute like dog doo-doo. It was so bad. I was so sad, so disappointed. And I feel like there's no worse ways waking up in the morning than to look forward to your first sip of coffee only for it to be absolutely horrible. So my boyfriend, he was such a sweetheart. He got us some coffee. And normally there's no issues with the coffee. And this is not his fault at all. I think it's just the place that he went to, but it was not good. They got it wrong. They completely did not add any syrup because I like my iced coffees a little sweet. So I was just so sad, you know? It just tasted like watered down coffee with a lot of oat milk. So that was like the first thing. And then I almost got scammed, you guys. I never thought this would have happened to me because I'm very cautious, okay? And I like to ignore calls that from numbers I don't recognize. So I was chilling, minding my own business, when I received a no caller ID call to my phone. And I was like, I never picked these calls up, so I declined right away, okay? And then afterwards, I got another call, this time from my bank. So it said my bank's name and then it said business. So I'm like, weird. I think that should have been my first indicator, because I feel like banks wouldn't really reach out to you. I don't know. My bank like never reached out to me personally, so I feel like that should have been my first sign, okay? So then what happens? I pick up. I'm like, hello? Oh, Elsier. Congrats on the shiny Bellsprout. So fitting for the upcoming fall season that is approaching us. So yeah, I pick up. I'm like, hey, what's up, hello? And they were like, hey, is this la da 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 da? And I'm like, yes, this is she. And they told me, so a little bit of backstory. A couple years ago, I had a little side hustle and I registered it as a business, and then I had opened a bank account for it, and I had a business credit card. Okay, that is a backside. The business is no longer operating, just FYI. So they call me and they're like, hey, we noticed suspicious activity with your business credit card. You live in this city, but it's two attempts were made in this city that you're not in. And I'm like, weird. Okay, tell me more. So they named the charges and they told me where the attempts, like which shops they were made at. One was Best Buy, the other was Staples. I'm like, yeah, that definitely was not me. So they're like, okay, so you can confirm this is fraud. And I'm like, yes, I can. And then they're like, good. So what we're going to do is we're going to lock your card, and then we're going to send you a new card. And I'm like, okay, sure. I mean, I don't use it, but better it's locked and I get a new one instead of some random out there using my credit card, right? So they asked me to confirm my address. And here's the thing that got me believing that this was legit, because they had my full address. Well, they had my mom's address, okay? So they name out my mom's address and I'm like, yep, that's it. But I moved last year, so should I give you my updated address? And and this is where I cringe, because I'm like, shit. I wish I didn't give them my new address, you know, because now they know where I live. So I'm a little stressed about that. So learn from my mistake. So I give them my new address and they're like, great, you should have gotten a 6-digit code sent to your phone by text. Can you please give it to me for confirmation? So I'm like, okay. So I read it out for them. And then afterwards, as I read it out for them and they're busy doing the clickety-clack on their system, there was this gut feeling that I had and a voice in my head that was like, Google this. So I Google it and I'm down this rabbit hole, and I quickly learned that the fraud department, they would reach out to you, but nowhere along the way did they ask me for security questions to confirm it was my identity or like birthday or anything like that, right? So that should have been like the first warning bells to me. And so that was when I was like, is this legit? So then, luckily, they needed me to send the code again. I'm guessing that the first time they didn't hear me properly, so they entered the wrong code. So they're like, oh, sorry, we need to re-enter the code. Another one's going to be sent to you. Can you please give us the new one? So I'm like, oh, okay, sure. And I'm typing on my computer as I'm like, because I'm searching things up at the same time, right? So I'm searching things. I know that they hear me clickety-clacking on my computer, and she's like trying to get me to hurry. And she's like, hello, are you there? And I'm like, yeah, just give me a second. And then something in me was like, shut the call. So I shut the call. And then they tried to call me like 3 more times. So at this point, I'm freaking out. And I see on Reddit that the best thing to do when things like this happen is to call your bank directly with the number on the back of the card. So I take a look at the back of the credit card. I'm calling it. I get put into the fraud department to talk to an agent. So I'm telling him the whole 411 of what happened. And he was like, okay, well, first of all, I can confirm that there are no suspicious charges made to your business credit card or attempts. So it seems like the person calling you was definitely a scammer. Okay? So I'm like, shoot. Thank God I ended the call. They didn't get the code like they needed to. And I'm still stressed, but luckily I told him about the whole situation of them attempting to send me a new card too. And he said that on his system, it seems like no attempts were successfully made. Although the weird thing is, when I sign into my personal account, I have access to view, because I linked my business credit card to my personal so that I can just view it, right? So when I click on it, I could see that it says a new card is being sent and I can activate it now. So that's weird, right? But when I sign into my business account directly to view the credit card, that option doesn't show up. So he was like, maybe it's just like a bug or something. We couldn't figure it out, right? So long story short, luckily my account wasn't compromised. I'm so lucky I've trusted my gut instinct. And you know, it really can happen to anyone. I had an off day. I was complacent. I didn't question things enough. And I think also the fact that it was a woman and she sounded so kind and inviting. And I hate to say this, but it made me trust her a little bit more, okay? So yeah, I blocked the number, and then I told my siblings, because, you know, hey, if it happened to me, I think the best thing to do is talk about it so that other people it doesn't happen to other people too. Because I feel like scams are getting so sophisticated now, and the fact that they had my address too, very scary, first of all. And second of all, it made me believe them even more because they had my address. They told me my address before I even told them what my address was. So I told my little siblings, and I told them to beware, make sure that our mother does not fall into these scams as well, because had it been her, that's a different story, okay? But they were barking up the wrong tree. And then my brother was like, oh, next time that happens, and I think this is great advice, so that's why I want to share with you guys. He told me that next time that happens, you should just tell them, oh, I made an agreement with my bank that any issues like this would be addressed in person at the branch. And he says more times than not, they would just hang up. And I was like, damn, that is great advice. And I'm going to hold that so close to me moving forward, because this was quite a scary moment. And I mean, it's always scary when money is involved, especially when they have your home address. I was like, oh my God, my mommy, what's going to happen to her? So I'm very worried. And yeah, it was a bad day. So that was happening to me yesterday, and I was like, shit, man, this is so stressful. So dealt with that for like 2 hours, had to change some passwords, and it was just overall a scary experience because it was my first time. And how ironic that the week before I was watching a video of another streamer talking about a time where she got scammed for crypto. And yeah, it really can happen to anyone, you know. A lot of it is the emotional psychology aspect to scamming. Like, had it not been a woman and she sounded so kind and so inviting and so worried for me, I probably would have second guessed it from the get-go, you know. But because she sounds so worried for me and so kind and like reassuring me that she'll get it fixed, I was like, wow, she's really going out of her way. But joke's on me. Okay, so trust no one. Trust no one when it comes to your money. And if they do call you and you have doubts, hang up and then call your bank directly with the number that's on the back of your card. I would say don't even go on Google, type your bank, and then look for the phone number, because you never know if it's a scammer as well and the address is like the link you clicked is actually the wrong link and you're led to a different number. So always just call the number on the back of your card if you have doubts, okay? Learn from my mistake. I'm so glad that nothing happened, but yeah. So my day was bad. It started off with a bad coffee and then nearly getting scammed, okay? And then what else happened? There was like so much more that happened afterwards. Okay. My boyfriend and my brother share the same name, right? So I write this entire monologue thinking that I sent it to my brother, but I accidentally sent it to my boyfriend. They have the same name, and on Facebook, they don't have display pictures. So afterwards, I walk away from my computer, I come back, I open up the chat again, and I'm like, weird. Everything I wrote is gone. So I decided to make a separate group chat with my brother and my other little brother to basically rewrite the entire story. Then that was it, okay? And then I take a break, I lay down on my sofa, and my boyfriend was like, oh, you sent me a story about what happened. And I'm like, wait, that got sent to you? Oh my gosh. So my head was just like all over the place. I was making mistakes I usually never make. And at that point, I'm like, this is just such a bad luck day for me. Like, I don't even want to cook in case I accidentally burn the kitchen down or chop off a finger. I don't want to go to the gym. Like, what if I trip over something or the machine just so happens to have a loose bolt and it falls on me? Like, I was like, okay, I'm just going to take it easy today and I am going to play it safe. There was like other things that happened, but I don't know. I can't remember it now. The scam thing was the major thing though. So yeah. And then this morning, like getting on the bus and the wrong location to the clinic, but luckily I was still able to see my doctor. Everything looked good though for what I initially went into for, but we do have to take tests just to rule out anything that may be causing the issues that I came to her to talk about in the first place. So yeah, hopefully today will be better. I'm trying out a new recipe though, so I'm very excited about that. There's this recipe going online called the dense bean salad. So there's like white kidney beans, chickpeas, palms of heart of artichoke, sun-dried tomatoes, and then you add in your like deli cuts and cold cuts. So I have spicy salami and I also have chicken breast. So the chicken breast is on the drier side, but it'll soak up all the sauce. So the sauce consists of the oil from the sun-dried tomatoes, as well as olive oil, salt, seasoning, whatever you like. You mix it up, you put it all together. So the girl claims that you can eat it for the entire week. So she makes it in batch and then she eats it throughout the week. But then I saw the comments say that with deli meats and stuff, you shouldn't be eating it after 7 days. So I'm going to just add in my ham and cold cuts for my serving, like chop it off and then put it in. But the beans and stuff, I'll mix it up. So yeah, I'm excited to try that out. It's supposed to be super healthy, a great way to get protein and also a lot of vegetables in as well. Oh shoot, that reminds me, I forgot to pick up shallots. So I'm a little sad about that, but you know what, it should still be fine. If we really like it, I'll make it more. But another thing that really sold me is someone said that someone in the comments was like, thank you so much for this recipe. I ate it for a week and my poops were super solid. And my boyfriend and I are definitely at that age where it's like, we give ourselves a pat on the back for a good poo. Okay, you're gonna reach that age soon. So that is like maybe the number one reason why I wanted to try out that recipe. So I'm very excited. And tomorrow we also have a dinner with a friend, one of his friends that came in to the city for a little visitation. So it's going to be a double date with him and his girlfriend, and then my boyfriend and myself. So those are the plans for tomorrow. I actually have something else I want to show you. So I picked up my ceramics. This is what I made. It's cute now that it's dried up and colored, painted. Let me just take the stuff out so it doesn't jingle jangle. But this is what it looks like on the inside. There is a little bit of a hole though, so if I do want to like put liquids in here, it will just fall out on the other side. But I think it's cute. It looks like a crumpled little thing, you know? So I have this one. I made 2 pieces, but my boyfriend wanted the other one, so it's in his room right now. But it basically looks like a cat bed, and it's flatter than this, and he's using it as a little catch-all tray for his keys and his watch and stuff. So very happy that we got the pieces back, and I am so in love. And although it wasn't my best work, I am happy with how it turned out, because sometimes the ugly imperfections are what makes something so beautiful as well, you know? Very wabi-sabi. And yeah, you guys, that was my hectic day yesterday. I wish I could remember all the other bad stuff that happened, because I was just like, this is a joke. Like, this has to be a freaking joke. My boyfriend was even like, wow, I've never seen you this unlucky. So I just felt like an Animal Crossing character, and I had like a very bad reading from Katrina. And I wish I knew what my lucky item was so I could mitigate the bad luck a little bit more. But things are looking a lot better. I'm in high spirits, and yeah, I'm gonna force it to be a good day. Thank you guys so much for joining me in this video. I hope you enjoyed the little story time session. Be very careful when it comes to your banking, and change your passwords like every year at least. I try to do that. And just make sure you're very secure. Use a VPN. Don't share your address with strangers. Don't click on suspicious things. And yeah, stay safe out there. Until next time, guys, I'll see you in the next video. So until then, take care, good luck, and have fun. Bye.